Howdy, it's time for the 7-player mystery race. Gotham Blues, your game. Tell me about it.
Yeah, this is a Heisei Tensai Bakabon, which is a comedic Famicom game. I played it years ago and think about it more often than I should. This game rules. It's you can think of it as being very similar to like Bubsy. Your character is extremely fragile, and half of the game is just figuring out how to clear obstacles without dying from minor fall damage or trips and falls and things like that. Let me go ahead and give our players the rundown, and then we'll get this race kicked off.
Yep, everyone looks good. Yeah, some people are in English, some aren't. I don't know that.
Yeah, one of our players had a translation patch for it, and I told them they're welcome to use it if they'd like to. Have I seen the Bubsy 4D comic? I think I know what you're talking about, only because I think I saw a single panel of it on Blue Sky.
Our race is underway. My clock's a couple seconds behind.
This game gets pretty challenging. I mean, it's not that it doesn't start challenging, but it gets pretty challenging later in the game. And I think it's really fun to play through. Would recommend. Yes, okay. I saw that, yeah.
How'd you like it?
The Bubsy 4D comic?
Yeah.
It's very funny. The world doesn't need Bubsy 4D, no more than it truly needed Bubsy 3D.
Are you aware of the project that somebody made of Mario World in 3D?
I've seen a few of those. There's at least 2 videos I saw on YouTube of 2 different projects.
There's one going around that's like extremely good looking, but it is only the first 2 levels, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about, and yeah, it looks pretty good.
Don't know if it's out yet for play.
Yeah, I saw one where a person was more or less trying to transliterate the levels directly, like making levels directly in 3D, and then another one where it was kind of like the spirit of Super Mario World in a 3D game.
No, yeah, it was like legit a new engine, yeah. It wasn't a QLDC engine. Those are cool.
Yeah, I'm still neck deep in QLDC judging. I mean, I guess I'm toward the end of it. I'm in the 50s out of 60 submissions, but
This is pretty weird looking.
it is a very weird game. You can see that a lot of the mechanics are challenging to control, as our players are commenting in Discord. Your run mechanic is pretty slidey. You have an umbrella that you can use to slow your fall, but you don't have a lot of control when you've got that. There's like a spring bounce with your pogo stick or with your umbrella. And one of the interesting things about this game is there's a lot of hidden items. So if you need health, sometimes if you look around you and you're like, there's a block that's very hard to get to and I have no reason to go to it, sometimes that's just like a trigger for a hidden item.
Man, that wall climbing action. I've never seen that. I had a hallway like that in my my old house when I was growing up, and one of my friends used it, climbed the wall just like that. As a prank.
The prank was climbing on the wall?
Yeah, just being like, sup? And you have to, she's like, where'd you go? And he's just doing ninja shit up all there. It's a pretty easy way to climb if you can get it just right. It has to be perfect.
Dude is figuring out how this combat goes. We've got a lot of players who have fought this character many times. I don't know very much about Bakabon, so I can't tell you like who these characters are. I want to say that this is a character from Japanese television, comics, something.
Yeah, this looks like the equivalent of a Japanese cartoon, or like an American cartoon character. I've seen some of these before.
At some point, I was aware of the history of Bakabon, but the last time I played this game was like 7 years ago, so I've long since forgotten.
The art style here almost instantly told me it was like a comedy, quick drawn kind of. Just like that. It kind of is like you know, in America right now we have every cartoon looks like Family Guy. You know what kind of comedy those are gonna be when you see those art styles. That's what I see here. But I've just seen cartoons like this over there before, and they're pretty good. Seen a few.
We've given Seth MacFarlane too much power at this point. Dude's really trying to figure out how to use this pogo, but doesn't seem to realize that you need a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, unfortunately, Western animation looks like that now. I don't know why it has to be that way. It's affordable. It's not very good. There's that climbing animation again in the Circus 1.
Poor Okami trying to figure out what to do here.
Yeah, it's not like good animation cartoons don't exist anymore. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, it's ridiculous. Look, it's so good looking. Like they are out there, but if you're looking for like comedy for adults, you're screwed. You're done. It's not gonna look pretty. It might be funny, you know. That's debatable too, honestly. But hey. There's always been a lot of good-looking cartoons around, but last 15 years the switch up has been Family Guy style. A lot of people are stuck on Circus 1 still.
There's a handful of circus stages. I need to look up what the levels are so that I can say what the progress is, because I'm not recognizing the levels just at a glance at the moment. Would you believe that there's relatively few guides for this game on the internet? Unbelievable.
Famicom, right?
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, a relatively early Famicom game too. No, a relatively late Famicom. What? Really? I assumed that it was an early Famicom game because of its because it still used the name Namcot. But this was from 1991. The Namcot name was used for a good long while. Okay. Maybe I don't know enough about the Namcot name. I think I always just assumed that they eventually shortened it to Namco. So like Namcot is old and Namco is new, but that just may not be accurate at all.
If they were working with Data East, they usually use Namcot. If it was in Japan, it was usually Namcot. That's almost the only difference.
Even the company doesn't remember why.
Companies
I like that honesty.
I don't know how it is, because every job I've ever worked with, I guess as the IT guy, I've always been super careful with data, but companies seem like they don't track things very well. Like their own assets. Man, you can die from hitting the wall too hard, and that's just what happened to Bloodfire.
That's why I said at the beginning, it's basically Bubsy.
Bubsy just shakes it off. Even Bubsy isn't this fragile. Circus 3, current leader Okami. Dude has had enough.
No hard feelings. No, don't blame him in the slightest. This game is very strange, and if you're not feeling it, it's not gonna happen. I love how weird this game is, but I can definitely see... I can definitely understand why a person would want to tap out.
I think part of what I need to keep in mind when I think about how a video game company can forget stuff. I mean, just forgetting why your name changes is marketing, but... For example, Final Fantasy losing their assets because Square just forgot to save them somewhere. That happens, and it's because they're more interested in the money aspect of things than the fact that they're making art that means a lot to me, so I would never lose that shit. I would have it backed up on like 10 places myself if I had ever had it. So there's a big difference there in motivation. And that lion looks cool. Mean though. These are the traps in a Luckman's Ladder section, basically.
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of that.
Yeah, there's probably a list somewhere of the probably hundreds of AAA titles that have just lost the entire background art that it's beautiful art. It's just gone, and then sometimes they find them again. They just found, oh, there it is. Found it on a flash drive somewhere.
Okami's really stacking the health here. Okami's found the pickups that improve your maximum health, which is obviously really important.
Yeah, the difference for Okami with 6 and Patty with 3 is pretty obvious.
I really like this game because I feel like every item is hidden in the same way. It's just a matter of touching the right block, and so it becomes very easy once you've figured it out a little bit to like look somewhere and be like, oh, there's going to be a secret here, and just predict it and go there and really like stack up the upgrades and things. Anytime you get low on health, it's like just find a spot where you can pick up some health. Yeah, since you said that, Okami's now up to 8 health.
Incredible. Yeah, like I'm playing through Final Fantasy VII right now, and there's a community for that game, like there is for just about every game on Earth, even the ones that you hate. That is just like.
How are you enjoying the Echo mod?
Oh, it's silly. It's a little inconsistent. I mean, I appreciate the attempt, but I don't think it's like I wouldn't say it's great.
Yeah, it's all amateur work, but it sounded interesting to me. I had considered looking into it.
But that's my point, is that the community for that game is able to do things like that. Like, they love it so much, and that's obviously a different energy than, whoops, lost the backgrounds. But yeah, they voiced every single NPC and stuff, and that's a tremendous amount of effort. They need some quality.
That game has no shortage of bit characters.
Yeah, it's well executed. They just need, unfortunately, to recast some of the voices and have some quality control now. Like, that's the next step if they really want it to be a super good mod. But it is interesting that they were adding voices to everyone that way. Like, it works great. It doesn't have any technical flaw in it, really. The flaw is that, well, unprofessional actors, of course, but that's not really a flaw per se. It's even mic quality is too inconsistent, so it doesn't really mesh as well as it could. Yeah, even dialogue options, like internally, like him saying yes or no is voiced. They did everything. I definitely don't want AI. I wouldn't have used it if it were AI. I just straight up wouldn't have done it at all. There is AI upscaling to fix art sometimes. That's a thing that mods like to do when they don't have access to the 4K textures and stuff that have been lost to time.
Right.
I've seen those around. Yeah, they added a lot of swearing and stuff. You play Final Fantasy VII?
Not since I was a kid.
Every time Reno
I played all the way
me,
through it when I was a kid.
I'm Reno of the Turks, bitches. He says stuff like that, and it's just kind of like, I don't know that that's who he is as a character. I guess maybe he is supposed to be that stupid, but I don't know about that. That's definitely not what he says in game, obviously.
Yeah.
He's definitely meant to be this smarmy jerk, but I don't know if he's that stupid. Yeah, I don't know too much about AI. I don't pretend to. I'm not really interested in it. I don't mind it anywhere near as much when it's done to save time and tedious work, and I would imagine upscaling is kind of like that. I really don't like the idea of AI being used for voice or artwork. I would never go in on that. I never will. I don't care if it costs me my career. I still wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. I just pay artists. That's all I do. And that's a fan project. Nobody probably got paid, so... You know, you got to keep that in mind when you judge it. So I'm not giving it too hard of a time, but there's obvious it's funny when it shouldn't be kind of quality to some of it because of the inconsistency. There's a lot of bad actors with AI, just like there were. I mean, the NFT guys just moved to AI after they collapsed, so those guys are in it.
Well, Okami's making great progress. Fernand's not far behind. Okami's on the first boss of the first world. I'm glad that the translated version writes the name of the level in Comic Sans.
Is this how you fight this guy? Is you just catch orbs? Are you winning, son?
I think this is like, you have to survive a certain amount of time.
Is the time 420 Nintendo seconds?
No, but if you notice, every time one of those balls hits the ground, he takes damage.
Yeah. Yeah, AI is kind of a buzzword at this point. It means AI and not AI. It mostly means not AI. It mostly means generative prompt garbage and stealing art and stuff. That's never what I considered to be AI. My whole life for like 35 years, and now in the last 2 years I have to change what AI means to adapt to the new definition, where it has nothing to do really with learning anything. But my phone and the things it would do with like Google Voice and stuff was never called AI until recently, and now they're like, yeah, that's AI. Like that, it's the same stuff I was always using. Into the dojo. Oh, hey, if it makes you feel better, OpenAI lost $5 billion last year, which I think is funny.
I mean,
could have just given me that money.
It does make me feel better, actually.
So I wake up and I'm like, you know what I didn't do? I didn't lose $5 billion in 2024. It's pretty nice. That seems like a lot of money to lose. Man, I hate Circus 1. I wish people weren't stuck on it. It looks rough to be back here again.
Yeah. Spritz is on Circus 2. Fernan is very close to the end of Circus 3. I'm praying for Fernan.
I'm just rolling down the quick Google search of how AI is doing across the Microsoft $19 billion loss. Yeah. It's just... ChatGPT earned 4 billion but lost 8. Whoops. I know Meta also did that. Did any of these companies do well? Oh well, maybe someday they'll get the money they're looking for.
It is funny. It is funny the positions these companies put themselves in, of literally having to burn money just to not fall behind on a fake technology that nobody asked for.
Oh, super annoying. I don't want to use Gemini. I just want to use my phone the way I have for 10 years. It's working great. I don't need whatever that is.
A fool and his money are soon parted. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I didn't upgrade my phone this year. I was planning to upgrade my phone this year, and during Black Friday, I was looking at all the sales on the Google Pixels, and every single one of them was like, this one comes with a trial of Gemini. This one comes with Gemini Pro. Is there a version that just doesn't have any of that? These levels are surprisingly long. This game, I remember doing fairly casual speedruns of it a long time ago. And it's surprisingly long for how straightforward this game is. It's a combination of how slow and clumsy your character is, and how long and how many levels there are. But it was like a 45-minute run.
Yeah.
For the whole game. And it's 4 worlds with 4 stages apiece.
It kind of reminds me of like a Wario Land game with all the weird animations and movement tech going on here.
You know, I can see that. Yeah, Wario Land really loves to go too far with the number of animations Wario has.
The only difference is the immortality. All subwoofers is annoyed. They had no checkpoint and all that. And they have left the race with that one. I don't know how far they were, but yeah, there's maybe no checkpoints all the way to the boss.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that each stage is checkpointless.
Brendan's got through Circus 4.
I want to say a very long time ago we did Heisei, Tensai, Bakabon as a race. I convinced you, and we did it. And
I don't think I've ever.
I don't have a strong feeling that we made much more progress than this.
I don't usually remember the million little games I played. Like I really remember the hell out of the games I play too much. Like I could tell you all the weapons in FTL. But this I don't think I've seen before, but I probably did. I probably have seen it. I just don't remember it at all. Like, as I go through to rate SNES games, I know I've seen them all. I did a gong show of the entire library at some point, but I go through and I'm like, Big Sky Trooper, what the hell is this? I just don't remember it at all.
Yeah, pace is a huge issue in this game. I mean, your character is very slow until you decide you want to go fast, and then you're usually punished for it. It's basically Sonic the Hedgehog in that way.
The hog challenge of figuring out how to go super fast without any interruptions in it, but still have some kind of difficulty. And then you have to design enormous stages to make up for it too, which is also a challenge. Because you're flying through them and they're really just a blur of information, and yet they're still stage design, you still have to make it. It's more background than ever before in those games. Everyone wants to do loops at 100 miles an hour. I think the number of people who want to run into a spiky enemy at the end of that loop is 0, but sometimes they go for that anyway. These moles in Vernon's stage look really annoying.
They all have a fixed pattern, so I don't know if it's a matter of just like balancing other obstacles at the same time, which is always a big challenge, or not noticing what that pattern is, but they basically just spawn in 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over, so Well, with Okami dying toward the end of Dojo 1 and having to redo Dojo 1, Okami and Fernan are kind of tied up now.
I think they timed out, too. Like, they actually ran out of that 500 seconds. The stage is so long.
Yeah. Yeah, time becomes a real obstacle in the late game.
Is there fall damage, or is that just a stun?
Oh no, there's fall damage. You take half a pip of damage if you take fall stun. It might be more if you fall from further, but I know that you can take at least half.
This just seems like there's a lot of healing around, but yeah, you do have to find all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This guy loves milk.
Can't get enough of it.
I don't know if that's actually milk. Might be something stronger.
It's mostly milk and ramen bowls.
Time is up by my clock, and my clock was late, so how's our clock?
All right.
How's the real clock doing? Is there a time command?
Nope.
It's definitely been 30 minutes, so.
Yep.
We saw Dojo. This game looks tough.
It is a tough game.
We're getting our scores here. Hattie with 3, Spitz with 2, Fire with 3, Fernan with 5. Not sure where Subwoofers was at, and Dude also dropped out. Our scores don't have like a web asset yet. They might someday. I can get that designed.
Yeah, I mostly just have them record it for placement, so that if we go back and look at the records, we can see who got the furthest.
Okami with 6 is the leader. Pretty close last call there.
It is a surprisingly tough game, but our players did well.
I'm willing to play through this sometime if you want to do it again.
Sure.
I'll interrupt your Mario runs. You doing any broadcasting?
In a little bit, yeah.
Okay. I'll just call it for now then. Hey, thanks for joining me.
Take it easy.
See you later, everybody. Have a good night.